We are back! Cup of Jones podcast is back.
Oh, God. Hey, guys, it's Tara.
And Jonesy.
And we are back. Welcome to the brand new first episode of 2020.
And we're tired.
Yes, we are exhausted. We've literally just now got caught up from everything. And we are going to actually officially come back with a new podcast episode this weekend. But until then, we did want to give you guys a little something to hold you over. And we are going to release the part 2 of the sit down with the psychic.
I feel like we're on CNN. We're going to release part 2.
The juicy parts of the episode we did with Elisabeth Smith that we couldn't reveal. Now we are in the position where we actually can publish that. So we're gonna go ahead and upload that tonight so that you guys will have something to hold you over, because I know everyone's greatly anticipating this weekend's podcast episode. I don't even know what we're going to do it on. So we just finally got a chance to breathe and looked at Jonesy and I was like, so let's just do the podcast this weekend. So I have no clue what we're going to do it on.
Probably how tired is too tired.
No.
And we got a new puppy.
It'll be something good, I promise. But until then, remember, this episode that we're posting was actually recorded in November of 2019. So that would have been...
so last year.
Oh, Jesus. That would have been like 6 weeks ago, maybe 5-6 weeks ago. So remember that whenever you listen to it, that this was not something that was done recently. It actually was done in November. It was mid-November. And so all these predictions that she's made were way ahead of everything that happened. And also, I've had a couple people message me about her current situation. I don't know, guys. I don't really know. I'm not on her friends list anymore. I don't know what happened. I don't even want to. Sorry about that. That's the new puppy. I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. I don't know. We're not friends anymore, so I can't really see what she posts. But
It's not that you're not friends anymore.
No, we're not friends on Facebook anymore, so I can't see what she posts. But I do know that there's been some things that are kind of catching people off guard. So I assure you, whenever she was doing the reading or whatever, it wasn't that extreme. I absolutely don't know what's happened. It's kind of not even really my place to even assume or, put anything out there. So I will say that she is and has always been a phenomenal psychic. All things considered, I mean, she's been doing this for me for, like I said, about 6 or 7 years. And nothing like this has ever really happened. So I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know. And I'll let everybody else just make up their own mind. I know a couple of you have had readings from her and said that they were great and she was spot on. So, I would just like to just think that maybe she's just going through something. And from what it sounds like, the people who have readings from her are really satisfied. So it must not be interfering with her work too much. So with that being said, I guess I'll just go ahead and cut to episode 2 of Sit Down with the Psychic with Elisabeth Smith. And then we will be back this weekend. All right, guys. Thanks. And don't forget to like, subscribe,
and share.
We are on all of the podcast platforms now. I got a thing the other day saying we're on all these ones that I've never even heard of. So we're on all of them. There's not one we're not on. So you can find us wherever you want on your favorite platform. Just type in Cup of Jones. Our email address is cupofjonespodcast@gmail.com, and our Instagram is Cup of Jones Podcast. And until this weekend, bye guys. All right, guys, so we're back for part 2 of our psychic sit down with Elisabeth. We did, the first segment was an hour, and then the second segment we decided to do separately just because some of the predictions that Elisabeth is making, I want to save until after they've happened, just because I should have known it was going to come out. I should have known that she was going to predict it, and I didn't even think not to to be like, shh. I should have known. I should have known you were going to pick up on it. So segment 2 will be aired after things happen, just because there's some things that we need to take care of. But when you hear this part, when you hear part 2, you'll totally see why we did it this way, and it will completely make sense. So, okay, go ahead with the rest of your predictions now that we're...
Okay, so I don't see you, I didn't see you at this current job for a long time, and then I could also see you leaving nursing, not for a while, but leaving nursing altogether. And I tried to think of other things that I could see you doing, and it was hard for me to think of, what you could do. But one idea, these are just one thing I could see you being, if you were to find a product or something that you wholeheartedly believed in, I could see you doing really well at sales. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this podcast could ever lead to anything that you could do. That would be really cool. And then the other thing that I could see you doing was I could see you doing, I know this is going to sound totally random, but I could see you being a school counselor. Yeah. Maybe she'll think about doing that. I don't know.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It didn't seem likely, but I was like, I think she'd be good at it. So those are some, I just tried to think of some other options in mind. But when I talk about how in 5 to 7 years everything's going to be different, I think that you're going to be, if you're doing nursing, it's not going to be the same kind of nursing, and it's going to be in a completely different environment, and it's not going to be the way that you've known it to be so far.
Right.
And, it's going to be completely different. And I see that happening, I think at about 5 years from now, you'll leave nursing most likely.
Okay.
And whatever you're going to do is going to be good, because I have a feeling that in 7 years, you guys are going to have a lot more money than you do now.
Which is absolutely hilarious, because
Amazon must be going out of business.
Shut up. Okay. He said Amazon must be going out of business. So that's funny, because I literally, we've been doing a lot of motivational reading and, life improvement things and vision boards and stuff like that. And it's funny because I made a list today of my goal for the next 5 to 7 years, which is really weird that you said that.
Really?
But I'll post a picture of the list. It's in my notes on my phone. So
it was 5 to 7 years.
Yeah,
wow.
It's within the next 5 to 7 years. And one of my goals is to literally have a net worth of a certain amount of money and have, actually I can read it right now. It's literally was to have a certain amount of money in my bank account at all times, even after spending. A lot of it was about making more money. And my very last one that I had on there was to go back to school for nurse practitioner, which would actually be making a lot more money.
Would you go to school for 1 to 2 years if you did that?
Yeah, it would be about 2 years.
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay. Because in your prediction about what your new career would be, I wrote you might go back to school for 1 to 2 years.
Yeah, it would take about 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
So on the list. On the list.
Don't have it in front of me, so I'm just trying to remember what I wrote.
On your email?
I wrote that down.
Oh, you don't have your email in front of you?
No, I don't have it in front of me. Let me try and pull it up. But I remember pretty much everything.
Let's see. On my list, I have about the money part. I have a bank account balance of at least, and I won't say the amount, of at least blank at all times even after spending, net worth of blank dollars, savings account with at least blank amount in it, and an additional business account because I had on there that I wanted to start my own business. And then I have one on my list that says to go back and get my nurse practitioner for free. So, so my plan is to have it completely paid for. So that's funny that you said I'll be making a lot more money because in my 5 to 7 year list, that is, it's mentioned on there tons of times about financial goals, big time. So that's on there. Moving to the Keys is on there. That's actually on there. And lots of vacations is on there. And
I wish you guys going on vacation.
Yeah, that's on there. Own my own business along with my husband. That's on there. And let's see what else you've said. I even have down to the kind of appliances I want in my home. This is literally the kind of list that I've made.
It's really good to be detailed when you're filling those out. So that's good.
It's like my little vision board list. So it's funny that the predictions you're making are literally the stuff that I have on my list today.
Yeah.
So
well, that's perfect.
Yeah. So
that's perfect.
Keep going. I am 100. Did you get your email?
Yeah, I got my email
Okay.
up.
All right, let's do this.
Okay. But my phone screen. Okay, here it is. I said this. I said that I saw something happening at work, there being some sort of freak out at work, and you kind of losing it, and there's some sort of scene with everybody, and you might leave work early that day, and then you will go back to work the next day, and you will be really unhappy about what happened, but work is gonna set off some sort of discussion between several nurses and your boss with some sort of issue that you will have had enough of.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then here's the part about you being a nurse for 5 more years. And then maybe the change is being a nurse practitioner. That could be it. And then I see, okay, this is interesting. I see you and Casey having a life-changing event in 2 years, and it's not a good event. I'm not sure if it's cheating again. It might be. It most likely, I feel like most likely will have something to do with that because of all the paperwork that you told me about that you filled out, about what would happen. That came up. I thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like this is something that will rock your marriage and your whole foundation. It's serious. And you may separate briefly, but you will reunite and get back together, and things will be fine once you deal with what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a not so great prediction.
Yeah, he huffed immediately. He was like,
maybe it can be avoided, but maybe he finds himself in a situation that's kind of shady in a couple of years. So remember what I said and not do it. But there's something major that's going to split you guys apart, but it's not going to destroy you forever,
Mm-hmm.
So I saw that happening. And then I see you losing 50 pounds in 2.5 years and looking so good. I think that the new area that you're going to live in is going to motivate you to want to be outside and to want to exercise. And I think you're going to be a lot happier. And I think Casey will be more helpful too. And it'll just make it easier to lose weight altogether. And after that, I saw you getting pregnant in about 3 years. And I wonder if that's coming right after you losing all that weight, because I saw the weight loss in about 2.5 years, and I see you getting pregnant in about 3 years. And I feel like it could be sooner, but that was the main time frame that came up.
Sis, I will be 44 in 3 years. We cannot have that.
I know, and I don't know how to get them to speed it up. It's like, they are so stubborn. They just, they don't, I think they're going to be happy with these new changes that you're making, and it's going to make them want to be born more, because, you know, the soul that's coming to you already chose you as their mother, and if you go to heaven, you get to plan out your next life. Like, you get to plan out, like, everything, you know?
Right.
And so, when you're born is really important. The timing and the conditions of how your family is and how everything is really important when you're born, because it affects your whole life, you know? Like, it affects, like, how much older is your older sibling than you. That affects things, because,
right.
like, if you're too close in age, you're not going to get as much attention, and if you're the baby, you're going to get more attention, and that will be maybe what they want. They want to be the baby and get as much attention as possible, because that will nurture them to become the person that they want to grow up to be.
Remember, do you remember reading for me?
Yeah.
Do you remember reading for me whenever I was pregnant one time, and I was, you know, naturally worried about losing it because we had so many losses, and you told me that the baby really wasn't going to come through until Jacob was out of the house, because Jacob and I were so close that Jacob would suffer. Yeah, that Jacob would suffer from the lack of attention, and the baby wouldn't want to come and cause a division between me and the other kids.
The baby did not want to have to compete for your affection. It wants your affection. And so now that all your kids are gone, it can happen.
Right.
You know? This baby, like, I feel like wants to be the baby, you know? And so, and have you also themselves. And, I think that the changes that you guys are making in your lives, and, like, the move and everything you guys are doing, it's all coming together to create the conditions that the baby wants in order to be born, you know, and what they want to be born into.
Right.
And so that's why I think it's going to, and I think it could, like, I got 3 years, but, like, I still feel like it could be sooner than 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be sooner, but that was the time frame that came up. I think it was January, 3 years from now, January 2022 came up as important.
Okay, January 2022. I'll write that down.
That came up as an important month for you guys.
I got it written down. Let's just hope that's when I'm a grandma for the first time.
Yeah, and that's something I can see happening too. I can see you becoming a grandma around the time you become a mom again.
Jesus Christ.
Have fun with that one.
All right, so what do you see anything else that's, like, you know, me and Casey, marriage-wise, relationship-wise, anything like that?
I think you guys are you guys have such a great relationship and such a strong love for each other. Like, I look at you guys and I'm like, I wish I had that. You know, I wish I found that yet. They're so lucky to have found each other and to have found that, you know. And I think you guys are really solid. I think you guys are a solid couple. You guys have been through a lot together, and you've been through a lot of disappointments together, and, you know, I mean, you merged your families. You had all these other kids with somebody else, and he came and he took over, and, like, you know, I think you guys are great. I don't think that whatever happens is going to split you guys up. I think you guys are in it for the long haul.
Okay.
I don't have any predictions of you guys breaking up. I can say that. I don't see an ending. And in most relationships, I hate it when people ask me, am I going to be with my partner forever? And when they ask me that, I really don't like it, because most relationships don't last forever.
No, not at all.
And when I tell somebody, no, it's not going to last forever, suddenly it creates, like, a wedge between us. Like,
right.
Like, they really didn't like that, and, like, they kind of resent me for saying it. And
right.
So it's, like, kind of awkward when people ask me that question. And, I know you didn't ask that question, but, like, I can't see, I don't predict, and I don't see any sort of end to your relationship with Casey.
Okay. He's over here smirking at me like, like, he's made a point that I don't understand what the smirk was for, but whatever.
What was the smirk for? What was that about?
Right? What was that about, Casey Jones?
Just as a smirk.
Just as a smirk.
Yeah.
So I think because you said exactly what he said, I don't have, I mean, you know how I am. I'm like, I don't know. We may not kind of thing. And his
may not what?
Be together forever. You know, his thing is, I want to grow old with you. I want to, you know, have like this Notebook kind of marriage where we just die together, I guess, in a bed peacefully. And, you know, in my philosophy, it's like, well, I mean, we may not. It just depends. So, yeah, that he's smirking because that was what his little prediction was, that we will grow old together.
Yeah, I don't see any separation between you two. When I look to the future,
do you see
you guys together.
Do you see anything with him? Like, do you see, not like cheating or anything? Like, do you see anything with his life, career change, anything like that? Did it come up at all?
Let's see. Well, I didn't look into him.
I was going to say, you didn't read for him, did you?
Well, thanks, Elizabeth.
No. Well, I know I didn't look into you at all. And I didn't have a lot of time because I had so many things that I had to do before we started the podcast. So I just had time to do a few predictions for Tara. As far as Casey, let's see. I think whatever he does in the Keys is going to be good because like I feel like both of you, your financial state is going to get a lot better. Specifically, like I can see him having to do. I don't know anything about Casey. I don't know anything about him.
This makes it even better.
I was like, is he having to do some heavy lifting right there? I can't tell. Like, does that make sense?
That's hilarious. So his goal is when he goes down there, he wants to work outside. So he wants a job where because you know most of his jobs have been in an office, like in dealing with like healthcare and the medical setting with insurance and stuff like that. He doesn't want to do that anymore. He wants to work outside. So like he wants to work at like one of the state parks or something like that down there where he's outside all day.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so he'll definitely be doing heavy lifting if he does that.
Yeah, I saw him having to like move stuff around and lifting heavy boxes, but I wasn't like, I don't think he's a mover, but I don't know what he's doing, you know?
Yeah, he's got goals that he's got a list too. We both have a list. But he's got goals that he's got on there. So what I'll probably do is just, if he wants to know, then he can pay you for a reading and you can do a reading for him. Look at him.
I don't get the free version.
No, because
I'm joking.
No, I'll answer some questions for him for doing this podcast for me. Like if he has a couple of questions he wants to send over, I'll answer them. You know?
He said, "Cool." I already know what they're going to be, so
don't worry about it.
I can anticipate. So, okay, so is my career... It's funny that you mentioned career change with, it may be a different type of nursing. It's hilarious that you say that because it's a totally different type of nursing. And you specifically said school counselor, but it's not a counselor, it's case management. So,
okay. That might be why I thought of that.
Yeah. So it will be sort of, I will be, it's nursing case management, but it will be a totally different kind of nursing than what I'm doing now. If this job, pans out, it will be a totally different type of nursing. I won't be, dealing with patients in a hospital anymore. It'll be more of interacting with them and helping them with, situations after they get out and trying to help them through their journey in healthcare and, kind of teaching them about things and, that end of it, case management end of it. So, kind
that
of,
would be great.
Yeah, it is.
We already found something like this?
So, yeah, it's in the works. I'm just waiting to hear a final confirmation. But it's definitely looking like it's going to happen. And
awesome.
It is 100%, like you said, a total different type of nursing and a different, and also in a very different environment because it's working from home.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so you were correct. And I did not tell you that on purpose to see if you would pick up on that it would be a different, a different whole, like as a whole, like everything about it's going to be different.
Do you see any specific color around Tara?
Color?
Color.
Purple.
Okay.
What is that? Why? What does that mean?
Just had a question.
Color.
A color.
Like an
she
aura?
Just said purple. So.
Like an aura? Is that what you mean, Elizabeth? Like a purple?
I'm wondering what he meant by the question. Like, what does he mean? But that could mean that. That could mean an aura.
So you've said career change like 3 times with Tara, and you said a lot more money.
Oh, I know what you're getting at. So I had a dream the other night of a blue teacup.
No, this wasn't the other night. This was about a month ago.
It wasn't that long ago. It was probably a couple weeks ago, but it was of a blue teacup in this dream. And it was like all in the dream. Everywhere I went, there was a blue teacup everywhere. And it was like a bluish, purplish. It wasn't like normal blue. It was, like how it's, I don't even know how to explain. It's purplish, bluish, like a beautiful blue color. And it had a gold rim around the cup, like, the ring at the top of the cup. It was Huh? Yeah, and then it had a lid on it, and the lid had a very pretty gold, like, how the teacups that have the lids on it, that have the holes in, so it's like they can seep the tea or whatever. I don't even know what they're called.
Yeah, I think so.
And it had a really pretty gold ornate kind of little tiny figurine on the top of the lid. It was so weird. And the color was like a bluish purple, like a midnight blue, but it was like a really weird blue. I can't explain the blue. It was like someone mixed blue and purple together.
Okay.
So the reason I'm asking is because she's wanted to open up a restaurant for a very long time, but she's never going to step out of her comfort zone.
Yeah, everyone tells me that I should open up my own restaurant. And so I've joked about it a lot lately that I should, when we move to the Keys, I should open up a restaurant. And I told KC I'm going to call it the Blue Teacup. So, so is that where you were coming from? Yeah, that's where he was coming from. Because I've literally joked about it. I was like, I'll just call it the Blue Teacup. Because I don't know what this blue teacup meant in this dream. Like, at all. It was everywhere in the dream. Like, everywhere I turned, it was there. And it was blue and like that bluish.
That was so crazy.
Yeah, and it had gold, and it looked almost like, how the teacups are when you go to like the Chinese or like the Asian restaurants, how they have the ornate like designs on them, and it looked almost like that, but it wasn't like Asian themed. And it had the gold rim, and then it had a lid with a gold statue kind of thing on top of it. And it was beautiful. And I literally tried to find one on Amazon that looked like it, because I thought maybe it was some, like, the universe or something trying to tell me to purchase this cup. And I can't find the cup anywhere. Like, I can't even find a cup on Amazon that looks like it.
Wow, I feel like you're going to find it in a really random spot. Like, you're going to be, like, antique shopping or just, like, at a store, and you're just going to see it.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of, is, like, like, old Victorian kind of decor.
Yeah.
With the teacup and the little saucer underneath it. That's what it reminded me of. And it was gorgeous, but it was everywhere in this dream. Everywhere I turned in the dream, the teacup was sitting somewhere.
That's so interesting. That is so strange.
Yeah, it was weird. So I joked that was going to be, if I ever did open my own restaurant, that's going to be the name of it, because it was so prominent in the dream that, like, I literally probably searched for the cup online for an hour. So that's what you're asking about, the color. So yeah, you're kind of right, because it was a bluish purple.
Off the top of my head, like, I don't have any images of you guys opening a restaurant at this point. I'm looking at your life right now. I'd say about 7 years in advance, and I can't really see, like, I'm not seeing any events past that, like, past 7 to 10 years. I'm just not seeing anything.
Right.
I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I can't see anything happening yet.
I'm too scared to do it. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not very business. I can cook, so I just always joke that I should start my own restaurant. But to actually step out and do it, I don't see it ever happening, because
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and especially the restaurant industry is so competitive, and I don't want to cook for a living. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy cooking at home, and I'm a good cook, but at the same time, it's not something that I would want to do every day.
Oh, okay.
And KC told me today, well, you know, I can run a restaurant. And I said, yeah, you could, but I don't want to cook every day. So, like, it's like this joke in the family that mom should open a restaurant, or he tells me I should open a restaurant. But the Blue Teacup will probably be the name of my kitchen before it will be the name of an actual business.
I can't see any plans being made to open a restaurant at this point in time. And
good.
I don't know if you guys are even going to want to have to deal with that, you know?
Right.
It's gonna be, I think you guys are going to be pretty content and pretty happy, and especially if you have a new baby and a grandbaby, I don't see you guys wanting to take on the role of owning a restaurant. But I'm not saying it's impossible. It's very possible,
right? But
I just don't see it yet.
Good. We'll keep the. Well, I'll name my my router the Blue Teacup.
The Blue Teacup.
My Wi-Fi router will be named the Blue Teacup or something. I don't know. It'll follow us, but it just won't be that restaurant. I told you, KC. See, he thinks that I'm lying when I tell him. I'm like, literally, I mean, it would be fun to have my own business, but I don't want to cook every day. That's not what I want to do.
You don't want to do dishes every day,
right? I don't want to have to work every day and own my own business. If I'm going to own my own business, I'd rather have people doing it for me while I sit at home and the money is made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it definitely, I don't even think I would pursue it. He keeps telling me I need to. And so, you know, that's where the Blue Teacup comes from.
That's a calling that you need to, like, do something about, like, a calling that you need to explore.
Yes, and I told him that the other night. We talked about setting what were the goals that we wanted to come out of our life, and I told him I exactly what I wanted to do, and it was what I feel like is a calling for me to do, and it's to start. It is to start a business, but it's more for mental health for women who have survived sexual trauma. And there's not a lot of mental health resources in the Keys area because, you know, it's the Keys, it's small. So that was a thing that I was like, you know, that would be something awesome to do, is start up a facility or some kind of agency that helps women who are sex trauma survivors, whether it's rape or, you know, incest or trafficking or whatever, some kind of resource in that area. Yeah. So that's definitely.
If you could turn your nursing and your work into something fulfilling like that, that would make you so happy. And it would be, oh my God, like being fulfilled with your work and like doing something that really means something to you. That's like a priceless gift, you know?
Right.
So you doing something like that would be really cool. And I'm sure they don't have that there because like people go there on vacation, you know, like that's not like.
Exactly.
Not where like people go to like live their lives usually, you know?
Right.
And deal with like deal with trauma from their childhood or deal with this or that. That's just not what they probably just don't have those services there.
Well, I Googled it, and it even seems like the closest is Miami. Like Miami, and that's like 45 minutes away. So my thing was, why not take that there? Why not, use my experience and my, career and the knowledge base and, try to start something down there that will, help other people in that area. So you are correct. In 5 to 7 years, my goal would be to no longer be a nurse. I mean, I would still be a nurse, but not, nursing nurse. So
not a nurse the way you are now, and
yes.
not having to just take care of the people who are rude to you and clean up shit and do stuff like that. You would be a nurse in a much different way.
Yeah, it would be a much more fulfilling way. And even this, the whole different type of nursing, different environment thing that you said with the case management thing, it's a totally different level of fulfillment as a nurse. It's, it's like totally different nursing. And I think that it's something that I need to make me feel more fulfilled in my career, especially because, I've been doing this for so long that I'm kind of burned out. So you hit that nail on the head, and I didn't even tell you. I purposely left out anything about a job with you.
Yeah. No, I'm glad, and I'm glad that you found something that you are excited about, and that looks really good for you, because I just know that you haven't liked work for a while. It's been something that you have to do, not that you want to do.
Right.
And that it's exhausting, and it's stressful, and, it's just, kind of a drag, And so, it makes me really happy to think of you being able to find a career like that, and I think that you can. And, like I said, in 5 to 7 years, it seems like everything has changed. Everything, down to, you guys will still be together, but everything else has changed.
Good.
But in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Because things have been so chaotic lately. I mean, literally, my life has just been nothing but a constant stream of chaos. So I welcome any, peace and change in a positive way, period. So that is fantastic news.
Yeah.
And then also on episode 1, because I'm going to because I'm going to edit that last part out. So we'll go over that again so that it, I can show where you were correct in that prediction.
Okay.
So the moving to the Keys. And so I'm thinking, like you said, the word Banks, you keep getting the name Banks.
Yeah.
The address of the house is Bay Drive.
Bay Drive.
What's the subdivision called?
The banks, how would you explain banks? On the sand banks, or the banks of the banks of the. How would you describe that word? How would you use it in a sentence? It doesn't have to be an important prediction.
I know what you mean, the Outer Banks. I know that was the first thing I thought when you said it was kind of like Outer Banks. There's a ton of banks in the Keys, right?
The land around the ocean, I think.
There is the subdivision next to it, and it's like a big, huge subdivision that's like the wealthy subdivision. I don't remember what it's called. But I know. I'll Google.
Are you guys in a condo?
Huh?
Are you in a condo?
No, we're actually in a house.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're actually in a house. I'll have to look into that Banks thing more. I'll Google it and see what the neighborhood around it. I know the subdivision has a name.
Yeah.
And I'll have to Google it and see what that means. And it may just be something that comes up later. And I'm like, oh, that's what it was.
Might just come up later.
Yeah.
It seems like a place nearby where you're going to be that's important. In the area, in the area of the Keys. Okay. So, yeah.
There's a Bank of America.
Casey's Googling it and he said, there's a Bank of America.
No, it's not that kind of bank.
Yeah, it's not. It's a water bank.
Yeah. Like that kind of bank.
Okay, so anything else that I need to know?
Let's see. Those are all the predictions that I have for you for now.
Okay.
And anything that you need to know. From what you've told me, like, you know, how you made a list of everything that you want to happen in your life, and you have been goal setting and thinking about the future, it seems like you're doing things the right way, and like you're doing things really well. And so and it seems like it's going to pay off too, because I see things being really good, like really good. And I've never told you that before. I've never been like,
yeah, no,
I've never told you that before.
Ever.
I don't think I ever say that to people.
You've never told me things were going to be really good. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a change.
Yeah, I don't get this.
I welcome that. That is 100% a welcome change, as opposed to usually how it goes. I'll take it.
I don't think I have anything else to add right now. Besides that, I'm really excited for you guys in this new chapter in your lives. And yay, I'm so excited to find out everything that's going to happen.
I know. It should be rather soon when we finalize the whole moving and career thing. The moving thing is basically finalized. It's pretty much, it's a done deal, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. It's waiting on the job thing to see if it pans out, because that kind of dictates whether or not I'll be able to afford to live in the Keys.
The Keys, that's like such an amazing place. I can't believe you get to live there.
Right?
And so, yeah.
What,
you went from Ohio to the Keys.
Right, how do you go from Ohio to the Keys?
Going on up. You went from like the Midwest landlocked to the Keys.
KC did find, he just did a Google search,
uh-huh.
and he found, what is that called?
It's called White Banks. White Bank dry rocks.
White.
It's a snorkeling and diving spot.
So there's a snorkeling, oh, this is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. Okay, so the reason we wanted to...
It has to do with the beach. It has to do with the beach. I know that much.
Yes, so... I mean, it's kind of coming together now that he says this. So there is a spot at, in the Keys, in Key Largo, called White Banks. And it is a snorkeling and diving spot there that is frequented. And the funny thing about this is we vacation in Key Largo probably about twice a month. And we literally go snorkeling there probably each time. I mean, like at least once a month when we're snorkeling, like the snorkeling tour takes us around to different, like reefs and stuff.
Yeah. And
it's one of the snorkel spots. It's called White Banks.
You guys go to the White Banks all the time.
Yes.
Oh my God. I love finding out how it makes sense. It's so much fun.
So I would assume, then
they're gonna go to this place that they like going to called something Banks, and it's like by the beach, and they're gonna like it there in the Keys.
And then the funny thing is, even more, that's what he's going down there to do. That's his goal. So right now he's doing his dive master training so that he can, when we move down there, he can actually work on the boat and do work for a dive company. And that's what he wants to have, is his own dive company. So he wants to do the snorkeling. That's what he wants to do every day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He wants to do what the White Banks was doing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. So that's hilarious.
Maybe that's a sign for what Casey's doing. Maybe that's why I got the White Banks.
It really may be. That's literally what he wants. That's his goal. I think that's on your list, isn't it? Huh? Yeah. It's on his list that he literally wants to have his own dive company and wants to work in the dive industry.
That might be a good place to start.
Right? Maybe you want to look at some places
Maybe
that
that's
go
where you
to
should
the white
apply.
banks. I'm going to have to look into this. If this white
Maybe
banks...
I can get a prediction for Casey.
Right? If this white banks is ever a place that we've been to, then literally that's freaky as hell.
Rumors goes there.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Are you serious?
There, one of the reviews said I had a great time. There's one called Mosquito Banks that we've never been to. It's like a big thing out in the ocean.
Okay.
And it said that I had a great time on Reef Roamers going to Mosquito Bank or White Banks.
Okay, so did you just hear what he said?
I heard it, but I don't understand it.
So the company that we always go snorkeling and diving with is called Reef Roamers. And the way he found it was he was Google searching for banks in Key Largo, like the word banks. And it was a review on Reef Roamers' Facebook page or website said that they had a wonderful time snorkeling on white banks. So
really?
It is a tour, and that's the only company we ever go with. So we've definitely been to White Banks multiple times then, because they only go to 4 spots, and we've snorkeled with them probably 5 or 6 times. So I guarantee you we've been to White Banks multiple times. Guarantee it.
Wow.
So that's hilarious. Because that's what got us wanting to move down there, was because we fell in love with the snorkeling.
Cool. Well, maybe that's a hint for Casey, because I just felt like it was a place where you guys would be happy. You know? It was a place where you guys would be happy. And it was like somewhere you should go. So
here's the thing. Here's the review. It says, just got back from an awesome day visiting Mosquito Banks and White Bank with friendly and knowledgeable crew of the Reef Roamer.
Okay.
So that's the only company I've ever snorkeled with down there. So I guarantee you we have been to both Mosquito Banks and White Banks multiple times. And that's why we fell in love with down there, is because the snorkeling was phenomenal, and that's what we want to do all the time on our weekends off or whatever. So that's kind of crazy. Because I didn't even realize the sites we go to were called anything banks.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't even know what it was called.
No. So I thought they were called something reef. I remember one was called Molasses Reef, but that was it. Like literally, that's all. So I'm calling them tomorrow to see. Mary Jo is the woman that works there that I talk to all the time. I'm going to ask Mary Jo if the tours that we go on ever go to any of the banks.
You're going to find out.
I'm going to message you about this one.
Okay. I love it how you follow up on everything. You
right?
Find out everything you do. And it's so interesting to find it out. It's so interesting to hear.
Yeah, so I will definitely make sure to follow up with you. I wrote down some notes of things that, especially Casey's gone to the hot tub now, so especially that whole life-changing event in 2 years thing.
He's in the hot tub now?
He's going to the hot tub. He's not here anymore. He just walked out. So, I've got that note written down. So I may have to pull out those papers. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
it can lead to that. It can lead to that for sure. It can lead to that for sure. But it's going to turn out okay in the end.
Okay. I'll keep note of that in the back of my head. It very well may be me who does it. We don't know. I will honestly say it may be me that does it this time. I don't know.
That's an idea. There's an idea.
Yeah, Do what?
Maybe it is you this time.
I can't say that. I mean, all I can say is I don't have any intention on it, but I mean, I'm human, so I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. I guess in 2.5 years you'll get that message.
So it could be either one of you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so before we hang up and, do whatever, so let everybody know how they can book with you, if they want to get a reading from you, how they can find you and how they can book with you. Okay,
so I usually have a website that's up, and it has a lot of information on it, and articles, and like 100 testimonials and celebrity predictions, and there was a problem with my domain, and it's down right now, and I'm working on a new one. So the only way to find me is through my business Facebook page, And that's Love, Light, and Insight, Psychic Readings and Theta Healing by Elisabeth Smith. I know it's kind of a mouthful, but that's what it's called.
I'll put a link to it on the page, too.
Okay, yeah, that would be cool if you put a link to it on the page.
Yeah.
And on there, I don't have as much information. You can message me, and there are a bunch of reviews that people left on Facebook. It's a Facebook business page. I have 4.8 out of 5 stars, which is pretty good. And there's 19 reviews, and then I posted 100 testimonials from my website on there. And then the celebrity predictions are there, and then there's just other random posts that I've posted over the years, that you can look at. And that's what's there, is the regular Facebook business page. And so feel free to message me there, and I'll get back to you right away about scheduling a session.
Okay.
That would be great.
Now,
my email address. My email address is love, light, and insight, all spelled out, at gmail.com. And that's a great way to reach me as well. Like, email me there. That works too.
And then they can also message me, and I can send them your information.
Yeah.
And then I will send you their name or whatever, so that you can kind of be looking for them. And then that way it doesn't, because I know there's been probably, I think, 2 or 3 already that sent you a message tonight, even before we started the podcast.
Okay, yeah.
And I sent you.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I sent you that stuff. So if they can't find you, definitely you guys can just let me know that you're interested, and I can get you her information. And I will put a link to your Facebook business page, and I'll even put your email address on there. And then I'll put.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then
Thank
I will.
You so much.
You are so welcome. I will put all that stuff on there. And then I'll put some pictures of our screenshots and some pictures of your testimonials and all that good stuff on there too, so that everyone can see how great you are and how legit you are. And I have 110% enjoyed talking to my girl again. I've missed you.
I love you so much. Oh my God, you are so awesome.
And I will definitely, I'm going to message you and let you know exactly what I find out about all this stuff as soon as I get the follow up. So tomorrow I'm calling about the banks thing. That's going to happen tomorrow. Okay. So you're going to get that text tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you so much. Like, I'm so excited. That's so cool that you messaged me tonight. Just like, I need a reading, and it turned into this.
I know. So we will definitely get your info out there. We will get you, I'm sure, especially after episode 2 airs. And, I'm like, well, here's what she predicted, and here's what this exciting announcement we have. I'm sure all of that, I'm sure you'll have a lot of new clients pouring in, rightfully so. And I'm sure they will be completely satisfied with the results. Yeah. So make sure you let me know if, people.
The more the merrier.
Huh?
The more the merrier.
Yeah, of course. So you got to let me know who comes to you from our podcast, so we know how many people we're reaching that way. Okay. And then we'll do a follow-up after and kind of be like, so see, here's what she said and here's what's happened. And that way they can see the results happening in kind of real time too.
That would be awesome.
Alrighty.
Okay. I had so much fun talking to you guys.
I know. Thank you for coming on at the very last minute.
Yeah. No, this was really cool. It was really cool. And thanks for telling everybody about my abilities and telling them.
You are welcome.
That you think I'm really good and promoting me. And I really appreciate it, you guys. And I really hope to hear from you. I really hope to hear from people, and let's do some awesome readings.
Right?
I think they're fun too.
Well, so you guys, you've heard it. Elisabeth is taking as many new clients as she can get. She is accepting them. I did tell a couple people today that if they don't hear right back from her, it's because she is kind of swamped. Everyone's finding out that she's back, and so all of a sudden everybody's wanting their readings done. Yeah. So last week was
reading right now.
Yeah, last week was chaotic. I even sent her a message and was like, so when are we going to do a reading? And I even had to kind of wait. So she's super busy.
Everybody contacted me when they heard I was back.
Oh, so. I know. I tried to send messages so, hey, I want one. So if you guys,
it's going to slow down. It's going to slow down this week.
Yeah, so. That's what I told somebody today. Was you told me that next week is probably going to be a little slower. So that if they don't hear from you immediately, you didn't forget that. It's just kind of you're swamped because everyone's hearing that you're back. So they're trying to get things into.
I'll definitely get back to them quickly.
Okay.
I will.
All right. And again, I'll post your information. And then if anybody needs any, if you want a testimonial from me or anything like that, I will be more than happy to do a recommendation. You are welcome. I love you. And
I love you too.
I thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us and shocking the hell out of me with this whole 2022 baby thing. I swear to God, I hope it's a grandkid. But I'm sure we will have plenty of more following up to talk and follow-ups and things to talk about.
That one. I'm not 100%, so maybe I'm wrong there. Let's hope I'm wrong about that one.
That's the only time I hope you're wrong. I so hope you're wrong about this one.
With some people, I am 100% accurate. Everything happens, but I say I'm 90% because when with other people, sometimes things don't happen. So
I will gladly accept this to be wrong. 110%. This is where I hope I'm the 10%. This is it right here. But I will definitely keep you in the loop, and I will let you know. And thank you again for coming. And to all our listeners, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we will put a link to Elisabeth's information. You can get on her Facebook page and like and subscribe.
Like that one too.
And subscribe to hers. I'm going to try to get Elisabeth to do her own podcast. So maybe that'll be something in the future that you can have to look forward to. But until next time, thank you guys. And again, you can always email us at cupofjonespodcast@gmail.com. You can reach us on Facebook at Cup of Jones or on Instagram at Cup of Jones Podcast. And until next time, signing off, this is Tara.
Casey.
And this is Elisabeth.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.